Everyone, welcome to KREM 2 News at Noon. It is good to see you. I'm Laura Papetti, and we begin with weather. Why not talk about it? Because it's absolutely beautiful here in the inland Northwest. Winds are expected to be much calmer today than yesterday, which is definitely good news, Thomas, after, of course, fire activity yesterday and just extreme wind impacting people. Today is much calmer so far.
Yeah, and it is excellent news for our weather conditions today, Laura, is that it's a gentle breeze, but it's a lot calmer than yesterday, where wind gusts peaked at 45 miles per hour, and that heightened the fire danger yesterday. But today it is a bit lower, a bit more subdued in that respect. Also, our temperatures have been moderated by a fair bit thanks to yesterday's cold front as well. But we'll point this out, winds are just 10 miles per hour. They'll be about 10 to 15 through the rest of this afternoon. You can thank this high pressure region, which is starting to calm those conditions. The windy weather is behind that cold front, which is now stationary over south central Canada. So we get to enjoy just the more sunny, pleasant, and yes, much calmer conditions in terms of the winds. No greater than 15 miles per hour for the afternoon, with high temperatures mid-70s as opposed to mid-80s. So just a step cooler today, but overall fairly pleasant. But another cold front moves through later this week. It gives us another bout of some windy days and then even colder yet weather heading into this weekend. So coming up, we'll detail how strong the upcoming winds will be for this Friday and Saturday. So look for those details in just a few minutes.
And here at the noon hour, we are continuing to track the Grove fire, which sparked yesterday afternoon. The fire is now 100% lined and 10% contained. So let's talk about what's coming in new at noon. Some evacuation levels have now been downgraded to level 1, which is a be ready order. Take a look at this map from Spokane Regional Emergency Communications. Level 1 evacuations mean people in the area should be aware certainly of the fire danger, but evacuations are voluntary. Some areas are still at a level 2 or get set order. People living within the boundary on your screen should still consider staying away from the area, but the threat is no longer imminent. Okay, so let's take a look at yesterday. Warm and windy conditions helped fuel the growth of the fire as it burned more than 70 acres in just an hour. The Department of Natural Resources was able to call on air support for the fire. Planes dropped water and fire retardant for several hours. In response to the evacuations, the city reopened the Cheney-Spokane Road interchange, which had closed yesterday morning for construction, causing, of course, adding, I should say, to some of that chaos. Northbound lanes on the road are now closed once again as that construction continues. Also yesterday, the gusty winds played a role in fueling wildfire risks in central Washington as well. All evacuation levels have been reduced to level 1 for the Palisades Road fire burning in Douglas County. Now, according to the Douglas County Sheriff's Office, the fire started at about 10 p.m. on Monday. The Sheriff's Office says there are no buildings at risk, and so far there's been no loss of any property. We're also keeping an eye on the Pioneer Fire burning along the north shore of the Lake Chelan, about 30 miles from the city of Chelan. The fire has grown to just over 650 acres. Level 3 evacuations are still in place for the Rex Creek area, which means leave now. It remains 0% contained. This is coming in new today. President Joe Biden approved a disaster declaration for 3 North Idaho counties. In April, storms caused significant damage to Idaho, Lewis, and Shoshone counties. The photo on your screen was a rock slide near Kamei. The damage across the 3 counties totaled more than $6.6 million. The declaration gives federal funding to state, local, and tribal governments. Also happening now, Spokane police are still searching for a suspect in a deadly hit and run. It happened in downtown Spokane yesterday. Police say they found a woman laying face down in the road at Brown and Main. She was taken to the hospital, but unfortunately died from her injuries. Police say she was hit by someone driving a car, but they have not found a suspect. So if you have any information, you're asked to call Crime Check, and that number is on your screen. And for a second time in 1 week, the Pride mural in downtown Spokane has been vandalized. This time, vandals used paint to vandalize the mural. Last week, police arrested 3 teens for defacing the very same mural with scooters. Spokane police are investigating the recent vandalism. And in the Spokane area and many areas around the region, it may feel like there is an endless amount of construction underway. But why so many projects happening at once? KREM 2's Cody Proctor took that question to the city and WashDOT to try to find out some answers.
Well, it seems just like every day there's a new traffic cone out on the roadways. Right behind me is the 29th Avenue project, which brought another wrinkle to drive times this week with the closure of part of Regal. So why so many projects at once? Well, turns out there's some truth to that age-old joke of there being two seasons, winter and construction. You can chalk it up to Mother Nature. Road crews need good weather for their projects. The City of Spokane's Kirsten Davis says we only get that good weather for a short time each year.
We're a community that has those harsh winters, so if we don't get those construction projects done in that 6 to 8 month phase, then we got to move it into the next year.
Another reason is funding and when they get it. According to Spokane County construction engineer Becky Spangle, they'll often apply for grant funding for a project years in advance. However, once they get the funding, there's often a deadline for when they have to use it up.
We never know for sure when those deadlines are going to fall.
That means the city, the county, and WashDOT often have projects happening at the same time as each other. However, WashDOT spokesperson Ryan Overton thinks their coordination and communication between each jurisdiction is getting better.
There's a ton of coordination that goes on behind the scenes that people don't realize, and it's not perfect, but I think we are definitely getting a lot better at it. We're communicating more and more frequently.
Now, if you have to drive through these projects, road experts encourage people to take it slow, going through construction zones, give yourself extra time to get to your destination, and try to take alternate routes if possible. In other words, drive safe. Another useful resource is the Spokane Regional Traffic Management Center's map online. You can use that to check in on current traffic conditions, take a look at traffic cameras, and see how the traffic flow is. You can also look at it to see where some of the projects are happening around our region. In Spokane, Cody Proctor, KREM 2 News.